Now to our other top story, a shooting rampage in Memphis that left 4 people dead and 3 others hurt. The suspect broadcasting his crimes on social media. We go out live right now to Mark Kelly, who spent the day in Memphis. Mark, the city dealing with so much between not only this horrific death of teacher Eliza Fletcher as well.
And after the week like they have had here in Memphis, you can certainly understand that this was a somber day. After last night, many folks in the city were on edge. A teenager now taken into police custody after that high-speed chase ended his alleged day of crime all throughout the day yesterday into the evening. Ezekiel Kelly, who was just recently released from jail after serving 11 months of a 3-year sentence, is now facing murder charges. It started just before 1 a.m. yesterday when a man was killed and the suspect emerged on social media. From there, a man was found shot to death at a gas station, with the suspect captured on surveillance video. A woman was hurt in a shooting just minutes later. That first victim has been identified as a 24-year-old father. His name, Dwayne Tunstall. He was in the area visiting with friends. One of those friends was Kelly. And during a conversation, Kelly allegedly took Tunstall to the side, pulled out a gun, and fired several shots, hitting Tunstall in the head. In a Facebook Live that is now deleted from the platform, Kelly admitted to shooting and killing the victim along with several other people. Just before 6, Kelly is accused of walking into an auto zone and shooting a man last night while live streaming that as well. Police said last night he was in critical condition, and right now this evening we are looking to learn more. But from there, the rampage continues. Kelly allegedly kills a woman at 723, stealing her SUV. He then uses that vehicle until his next alleged carjacking. That victim this evening has been identified as Allison Parker, a nurse who worked in West Memphis, Arkansas. Now, she was a medical assistant. Parker's daughter was with her during this carjacking. Now, the West Memphis mayor is planning a citywide vigil, and we are expecting that to happen tomorrow. But since we got in town earlier this afternoon, I've been driving around. We've been talking to folks about their reaction and what they have been feeling and dealing with since this rampage last night. Of course, as you can imagine, everyone has their own unique perspective on how something like this could happen. But overall, the reaction here is one of disgust, a lot of head shaking, as you can certainly understand. I was on Poplar and Evergreen in Midtown this afternoon where one of the shootings happens. I met a woman there. She works at the Subway shop on that street just a block from the shooting. She counted, she tells me, almost 24 cop cars outside her restaurant last night, and she worries this won't be the last tragedy.
Because you have a lot of angry young people. They're angry that their mothers and fathers have to work and not raising them. They're latchkey kids. They take themselves to school and home. They feed themselves. Parents, all we do is pay for the bills. So there's going to be more. And he was probably just the youngest, but it's going to get younger because a lot of them have no guidance. They have no one that's willing.
I also had an opportunity to speak to another man there in Midtown as well. He works in the area. He has some ideas of his own as far as what needs to happen to change the crime in this city. You're going to hear from him coming up in our 5 o'clock newscast as well. But the city of Memphis, of course, and its residents are grieving after experiencing a brutal stretch of crimes like we've seen this past week. And it's a city that is no stranger to this issue either. I want to go to Chris O'Brien. He's joining us now from Nashville, from Capitol Hill. Chris, I understand you had an opportunity to speak with some lawmakers today. What are they saying about this issue?
Mark, good evening. Like you said, it started with the finding of Eliza Fletcher's body a few days ago and then continued with just the brutal stretch of murders last night, some of them live streamed like you alluded to. And like you said, we did speak with several legislators today about what they've been hearing from their constituents. Now, heartbreak has just been the most common theme among both Republicans and Democrats alike. One of the things that many lawmakers have really struggled with when I spoke to them was the fact that the violence really has been seemingly random.
It's senseless. There's no rationale. It's random, I think, which is the scariest part, because how do you even prevent something like that? How do you protect yourself?
It's painful what the city of Memphis is going through right now because it's good people. But like most of the country, we're having a crime problem.
Now, most of the legislators from Memphis, plus the governor who we spoke to today as well, said the same thing. Memphis is a terrific place to grow up and a terrific place to live and a terrific place to visit. But a lot of these crimes are kind of making their imprint and defining the city a little bit, which is obviously something that they do not want to happen. We'll have more, a little bit of a deeper dive later in the 5 o'clock hour right here on News 2. Plus, we'll hear from a few more legislators as well. Mark?
And Chris, you mentioned the governor. The governor saying today in his address as well that he had an opportunity to speak with the House Speaker today about these issues and ways to address them. Let's go to Allie Lynch. She is at the WKRN.com alert desk with more on that. Allie.
Well, Mark, that's right. In the wake of these recent series of random murders, Governor Lee spoke this afternoon saying the state of Tennessee is with Memphis. He says his thoughts and prayers are with all the victims' friends and families. Take a listen.
The community of Memphis has seen evil, and innocent lives have been lost to senseless murders. And those who committed these crimes, these heinous crimes, will be brought to justice, and it should be swift and severe. And our hearts and our condolences to the families, the victims in these terrible crimes.
Now, the governor goes on to say he commends the work law enforcement has done. He says this is why we must continue to support law enforcement and the practices that will meet these types of challenges in our cities and in the state. Mark?